What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. This is another episode of Beyond Click and Cliff. This is a podcast of sorts. I get to tell you a story, either about my life experiences or what's on my mind or what's troubled me or what's going on in my life. And today we're going to just kind of tell you a story. Um, this is for you while you're working, mowing the yard, doing housework, doing whatever you're doing, and you have me on in the background, and I could at least might make you chuckle, might make you mad. Hope I don't make you mad though, but maybe lighten the day. That's what I'm hoping. Um, and today, here lately on my podcast, it's been kind of down because I've been going through some stuff. My wife has been going through some stuff, but today I want to try to be uplifting and be funny and have a good podcast. Maybe I don't know. Y'all going to let me know in the comments or the likes if it's good or not. I don't know. But anyway, back at the ranch. Everybody knows me. Knows that I kind of like sports. I love football and baseball. Those are my two favorite sports of all time. If I had to do a top five, it'd be football, baseball, basketball. Well, college basketball. Then maybe golf and fishing and golf. I mean, those are about. Actually, it'd be football, baseball, fishing, basketball, and golf. Maybe I don't know. I don't even know what the fifth one would be. But anyway, those would be my top five. But today, when I was a little kid, my parents signed me up for Little League Baseball. And, dude, it was fun times. We'd go out there and play a game on Saturday morning. We get done playing the game. We'd run up to the concession stand because the Little League would give us a drink and a piece of gum or candy after the game. And we would sit there all day at the ballpark. Even after we play, we'd sit there and watch other people's games and play. Our friends, our buddies that we go to school with. We used to get this drink, and it was a mixed soda drink. I mean, you got a little bit of every soda in one cup when we drank it, and we loved it. It was just a sugar thing, I guess. I don't know, but we loved it. We get our candy bar. We'll sit there on the bench and watch a baseball game play. We root for our friends. Yeah. But I remember being out in the outfield. And like I said, the attention span, as kids is this small. We get more as we grow up. But at that time, our attention span was. And I remember sitting that I was left field, and my family would come watch me. I'd be sitting there throwing the glove up in the air as the game's going on. I'd be throwing the ball up in the air, my glove up in the air, catching it, throwing my glove. I was bored. Okay, that's all it was. I was bored, and at that small age, there wasn't a lot of balls being hit in the outfield. Okay, I think no, because I must be in the third grade because we were still using the pitching machine, so we didn't have a live pitcher. We called minor leagues and then major leagues in the little league thing, and we got old enough, you went to the next level, and so on and so forth. But there wasn't a lot of balls that hit out my way. I was throwing my glove in there. Next thing I hear my dad, my mom, my cousins telling me to stop. I'd sit on and I get tired just standing there, so I just sit down Indian style in the grass, picking the grass up, throwing it up in the air. I had no clue, okay? I had no clue. My coach is telling me, get up, stand up. I'm like, I'm yelling at him, saying, why? Because there was no balls being hit way out there till this one time. I don't know what, it was pure luck. Pure luck. It was my first catch. Pure luck. I heard a ting from the bat, and I was still looking around, messing around. And I so happened to saw something, and I just went like that and caught the ball. I mean, I wasn't even paying attention. It just boom and then boom. I looked at my glove like I caught something. It was the ball. I was excited. I jumped in the air going, yes. As the other players were running around the bases, I'm like, oh no, I got to throw the ball. So I threw the ball in, whatever. I don't even know if we won the game that day. But it was fun. Fun times. I loved it. And I grew and I learned the game and I played in high school and we went to Babe Ruth and Babe Ruth was like the next level. It was like junior high stuff. Okay, before you went to high school and played for high school ball, I played in this Babe Ruth. It was just right after Major League. I played in the Major League part of it. Of Little League. It's a Little League. Okay, it's not like the major league like the pros. It was just what they called it. Um, Babe Ruth. Yeah, it was fun. I was part of the game. I played first base that on in right field during Babe Ruth and me and the coach didn't get along. I don't know what it was. It could have been a little bit of jealousy on my part. Okay, uh, dude, I don't want this to sound whatever that like I'm jealous or constant or whatever you call it, or I thought I was better than somebody. But there is circumstances. The coaches had a boy, and of course the coach's son has to play, and obviously he played the same spot I did. Couldn't hit the ball worth a lick. Couldn't. I mean, he couldn't catch the ball at first base. But you know what? The coach thought he was the best player on the team. Wasn't. I played too. I mean, don't get me wrong, I played too. But I was like a little jealous because I was sitting on the bench and this dude here couldn't catch the ball, and I caught most of mine. I wasn't the coach's son. Now, and I got mad. I did. I told man, dude, I'm done playing. He goes, what? Your son can't play worth a lick, and you're sitting me on the bench. He didn't like that very much. My dad, of course, my dad, he always had one rule: if I started something, I had to finish it. So I had to finish a year out with him, and my dad talked to the coach, and we got, I guess, understand because after that we were all right. I played too. Don't get me wrong. He put me out there. It was just. I think it was just that moment where I was like, man, we were losing. I'm sitting on the bench wanting to get in there and do something. And you know what? We lost the game anyway. And I wasn't like the All-Star. I wasn't no Albert Pujols or Babe Ruth or whoever. I think Aaron Judge is one of the top players now, or Bobby Witt Jr. I am not that caliber of a player in baseball. But I loved the game. I loved playing it. But it was all right. It was fun. We got into high school. I played first base, and I mean, I just played. I wasn't that good. I knew I wasn't that good because we had people on that team that was a lot better than me. A lot of my teammates went playing on the traveling teams, and they traveled all over, and I didn't want to do that. My parents couldn't afford that, and we couldn't take off to just go do that every weekend. So I didn't get to do all that. It was fun. It was fun. But I do miss the smell of the baseball field. I don't know if any of y'all ever went to a baseball game, but you can smell the nachos and hot dogs and the smell of the grass being cut just before the game. You just had a unique smell, and I do miss that. I haven't been to a baseball game in quite some time. I did go to a little league here in town. One of my other cousin's kids was in a tournament, and I went and watched him play. They won, so that was awesome. Man, I was sunburnt, head to toe. Phew, it was one of those things, man. It was fun. It was a fun time. Then I remember going to a Kansas City Royals game in the stadium, which, dude, when I was growing up, I lived up there in Kansas City. Well, we lived in Lee Summit or Harrisonville, and that was a suburb of Kansas City. So we might as well say Kansas City. But I remember going to the baseball game when I was a little bitty. Some of these names are gone now, passed away. Brett Saberhagen. But I remember Brett Saberhagen and Dan Quisenberry. They were pitchers. They were pretty good pitchers. They went all-star. I think one of them's in the Hall of Fame. Chased me around a tree. What they would do, the warm-ups, they would run around outside of the stadium. They didn't run inside the stadium as they do now. Back then, they was running outside of the stadium, and I don't know if I got in their way or something, but I started running, and they were chasing me around the tree. It was fun. It was fun times. I actually played. There was this player called Frank White. He's a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer. Played second base for the Kansas City Royals in the 80s. In the 70s. Awesome second baseman. I played with his son on a little league, and that was fun. He was a professional. He was not. He's a Hall of Famer. He'd come to his boys' games, and everybody would want to surround him trying to get autographs. And I remember my mom. I asked my mom, "Hey, could you get me a signed autograph or something?" And she went up and talked to him, and he had one rule, and he would tell everybody at first. He goes, "Guys, I'm here to watch my boy play. If you want a autograph from me," he said he'd tell, "Here's a pad of paper. Give me your name and address, and I'll send something to you." So my mom did that, and 1 week later, I got this package in the mail from Frank White, and it had autograph. That had an autograph. Portrait of him, a baseball card of a sign from him, a pen that had his face on it. It was a bunch of merch, and I thought that was cool. And every time I'd see him at Walmart, because he lived in the same town as I did, we'd see him at Walmart. I'd walk, "Hey, Frank White, how you doing?" And he was always wave, and he was always good with the fans. And he was generally a good guy. He didn't like go separate ways or anything, but he did take time and say hi to you. It was awesome experience. I don't know if anybody ever got to do that watches me, but that was a pretty cool experience. And I'm like, dude, I want to be like that guy. That guy. He awesome baseball player, but he's also a cool dude. But love of the game. Put me in, coach. But good time. That was a good memory of me growing up with in the game of baseball, and I wish I could convey it to somebody, but I have a daughter, and she didn't get into sports. She tried the game of soccer. I had no clue how to even help her because I didn't even know how to play the game. But she played it for the year, and she did play a little bit of basketball, but she got out of sports. She's more into other things other than sports, which is whatever. But it was a good time. Good times whatsoever. It always a good time. But we will always remember those times growing up. Going into a baseball game, getting these hot dogs and pretzels with nacho cheese, and the sounds of the game, the cheers. I got to see Bo Jackson play ball. I got to see George Brett. I got to see a bunch of players. I watched him play the Yankees, but when Don Mattingly, I got to see him play because I played against the Royals, and I went to the game, and so it's kind of a cool experience. I got to see these guys play. I can actually say I got to see some great players play. But anyway, guys, that I love telling these kind of stories. That's just hey, but it was my life experience, and I wanted to share it with you. And I thought about that the other day. I go, I want to talk about that today. So I did. Guys, I'm going to leave this one with you today. Hope you enjoyed this podcast of my life experience. But Hope you did like it, you know. But won't you be good to one another? There's a lot of bad things going on in the world, especially today. Be somebody's light and somebody's darkest cloud. Say hi to them. Saying hi to them may brighten their day. Always be good to open the door for somebody. Help somebody to their car. An old lady that's trying to take out groceries. Help them put groceries in the car. Little gestures like that will make this world a lot better. Instead of what's going on. Alright, guys. Please let me know what you all think, and subscribe if you ain't subscribed. And until next one, be good to one another. Bye bye.